What is good, everybody? What's up, y'all? It's your boy Troy King, aka T King Mode. We are back in the building. TL Fantasy Football, the final episode of the season. And with me, my guy always, man, Mr. NFL, Mr. LQ, Mr. Fire Content Only, Mr. Real Deal Fantasy Football, Laquan Jones. LQ, how you doing this fine evening, sir?
What's good? It's Tuesday. You can see the face, you know the case. Fire content only, boy. I mean, look, it's the last show of the
Of this
season.
season.
Of
Yeah,
the
of this either.
season.
We ain't going nowhere, man. Listen, y'all, like it's been such a dope season, man. We still part of the DD family. Obviously, the season's wrapping up, getting into rookie content. So obviously the channel's still gonna be popping. And
Yeah.
so you gonna see us during the off season doing a little thing here and there. But man, it's so awesome to be back with y'all. But we're gonna get into it. I see some people in the chat. Dynasty Barry, Clinton,
Clinton.
Albert. I see y'all, man. And let's talk about Clinton real quick. You're right. He is a glizzy gobbler, man. Justin Herbert, boy, he
Oof,
was disappointing.
Lord.
He was very,
Jesus.
very disappointing, man. But we got a lot to talk about. Really, we're gonna get into NFL news. We're talking about glizzy gobbler, and look, it's the fantasy playoffs. So if y'all have questions, start dropping them in right freaking now because this is big time. I got eliminated in some leagues. I'm still a little salty about it. Like yesterday, bro, if freaking Christian Watson just turned around and looked at the freaking ball, I would have won. He would have caught it for a touchdown. I would have won some championships. I mean, not championships, but moved on to the next round. And I got
The next
eliminated because
round.
it was
It was a
frustrating as hell.
unique situation for me because in one of the leagues I was facing him, and then I'm like, damn, if he scores that, I might lose because I just needed 13. 13 from Akers, and I would have been, in the clear. And I'm thinking, all right, we good. But I kind of figured Watson will burn out, you know what I mean, in that game with the Rams defense. And it kind of, in a way, there was opportunities for him to score, which were on him. But
There's a couple opportunities he could have scored. He fell down. He got tackled, but like fell down. He could have scored, and then he just didn't look because he was a rookie.
yeah, but I had it notched that, the Rams defense were going to play them tough. Like, I really thought this was a Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon game, which it was. And I really didn't see much coming out of that wide receiver core.
Yeah, I mean, it was really just and one thing I was talking about, and I gotta look back, but the whole AJ Dillon concussion thing was really weird. So it said like I think Matt LaFleur said he's out of the concussion protocol. How is it out of the concussion protocol? Like
We seen that with Huntley for the Baltimore Ravens, where he actually went back on the field
but
after
I just
being
don't
in the boot.
understand because
I
after the
don't
whole
know.
Tua thing, obviously after
It's his
Tua,
fault.
everyone freaked out. The Buffalo Bills freaking fault for cussing him, but everyone
Oh,
freaked
here we
out.
go.
And then like Teddy Bridgewater, for example, like they wouldn't let him back in the game even though he wasn't concussed. And there's a lot of things. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, but again, we're gonna help y'all with the fantasy playoffs. Again, if you have questions, start dropping them in right now. Make sure you're also liking this video. We really appreciate that. But let's get into some news first, man. Let's get into some news. So there's a lot that happened. So let's start off with some news that's related. So the Packers, speaking of the Packers, they released Sammy Watkins, which I guess isn't too much of a surprise. Obviously Christian Watson, he's stepping up. Romeo Dubs, like he got hurt. He doing well, got hurt.
Yeah.
Now he's back in the lineup. Alan Lazard is Alan Lazard. Randall Cobb. They just didn't need Sammy Watkins anymore. He wasn't doing anything for him anyway. He was released, but he was just picked up again by the Ravens. So now he's back with the Ravens. Crazy how he's been all over the place, but at the same time, they put Devin Duvernay on IR. So they really needed they have this full of mid wide receivers. Their entire wide receiver core is
Bro,
absolutely mid.
I don't know the last time. I have to look at it. I know it's a bad stat, but the last time a wide receiver scored a touchdown, it has to be X
Oh
amount.
yeah, it was weeks. I think like week 3 or something ridiculous.
It's
Been such a long
ridiculous, bro.
time.
It's disgusting for fantasy, and that makes me think back about all my Rashad Bateman shares. Thinking forward in this offseason, I might be looking to ship them off.
I know. I think it's the time to buy because it just to me, and I don't know if we're gonna blame. I guess it's Greg Roman. I know Raven fans hate
Him,
Greg
and I
Roman.
think collectively everybody hates that man. But is he going anywhere? That's the problem.
Is he going anywhere? Greg Roman, I don't know, man. The head coach, John Harbaugh, he seems to be ride or die with Greg Roman. So I don't know if he's
He
going
believes in his philosophy, but it's like
because it's
sometimes it's
worked. It
like
worked before, but now it's like clearly it's not working anymore. And y'all,
he's like the old guy still going to the club, bro. Like it's a dub. It's over, man.
and the
Times have
worst,
changed.
yeah, and the worst part is with Lamar, right? And ignoring my dog, but like, but with Lamar and stuff, right? Like, is he good enough to overcome it? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, with like, because he hasn't Lamar hasn't had a good season. Like Lamar, from Lamar standards, he's been okay. He's been decent. Obviously, he's hurt now, but the Ravens haven't been that impressive of a team. I know they're in the playoff run, but it's like that's the team. If I'm a team in the playoffs, I want to play the Ravens because to me, they want the easiest out amongst most of the people in the playoffs in the AFC. Like them and the Titans, I don't want to play either of them because
Yeah.
they're both like not great teams to me.
Nah, I
What's your
definitely
opinion there?
agree. Because like the situation that Lamar's in right now, he's on a contract year. He's trying to get paid the big bucks, and he hasn't been playing that top tier to his standards. So it's like, man, I really wonder, like the rest of my shares on that roster that I have, like what do I do with? Like I'm even questioning Mark Andrews right now, his longevity with this offense and with Lamar Jackson. So these are questions that we're going to have in the offseason because there could be a possibility we see Lamar leave. I don't think they're going to throw him that guarantee back. There's a team out there that will, though.
But the problem is if they don't pay him, that means they're just an absolute rebuild mode. But who are you going to get? The Ravens' record is too good to get a quarterback in the draft. So unless you just believe in a guy who's projected to be drafted later, but I think that would be absolutely ridiculous to move on from
It,
Lamar because
it would definitely be ridiculous, but I'm not going to throw that out of the universe yet.
that's
Just
possible.
based on we've seen crazier shit.
Yeah,
Like
we've seen crazier shit, and also he's hurt, and
but
it's
I
not.
like
Yeah.
that you said though it might be a total rebuild, but in a way maybe not. You have a great
How?
running back core. I mean, your defense a little shaky on the back end, but you can address that in the draft. What if you trade up? What if you trade up and get a first round pick that's higher to get a quarterback? Like we've seen crazy shit during the draft as well. I mean, anything can happen.
I mean, I have to look at their assets, but I just think it would be absolutely ridiculous when you have because basically you're going to be in the draft looking for someone as good as Lamar, right? And I think that's the problem. Like when you have a franchise guy, a game changer, Lamar changed the game. Lamar absolutely changed the game. So it'd be like the whole like AJ Brown situation with like the Titans, right? You ship him off, don't pay him, and now look at him. He embarrassed you when he came back. The team isn't that great. Like, and I feel like Lamar, they would absolutely regret it because you're going to be looking for a guy like Lamar. It would be absolutely ridiculous. I
Yeah.
hope they don't go that route. I just think it would be dumb. But
The
anyways,
wide receivers, man, they need to do something in the off season because Jesus Christ.
yeah, they absolutely need to do something. But they have to change their whole offensive philosophy. They need wide receivers. They need help. They need to get Lamar some help because he's just
Like we've seen
outside
the
of
Titans
the.
perfected a run first offense, a heavy run offense with AJ Brown still performing at a high level. I mean, that can work in Baltimore if Lamar stays.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, we'll move on from Lamar, but no, these are all great points. So Zach Wilson is getting the start again. For the Jets, Mike White is still out with the ribs. For fantasy purposes, Zach Wilson, he put up 20 points. He did decent for fantasy, but
On the
he's not
wire.
somebody I'm gonna trust. He's not somebody I'm confident in starting. He's still not a good quarterback to me. I'd feel like and also the Jags, right? The Jags are hot right now. The Jags are hot, and they're playing in Jacksonville, if I'm not
Thursday
mistaken.
night football.
Thursday night football. It's a short week. You lost. You've been on a losing streak. Now you're going to Jacksonville, who's heating up. As the Dolphins fan, I would love to see them lose. And I feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars, I feel like their defenses, they've been giving up some decent points, but I feel like overall they're not that bad. I feel like
No.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see multiple turnovers from Zach Wilson. I'm curious about the
Oh
game
my
plan,
God,
but
yes.
I really wish for entertainment and fantasy, I wish Mike White was there. Gary Wilson was pretty okay. He
Yeah,
wasn't as good as he was
I
with
feel
Mike
like he's
White.
one of the guys that are like QB proof, if we can bring that word back, even though
Yeah.
Allen Robinson completely put that word in shambles. But Garrett Wilson is definitely one of the guys I can trust in lineups, regardless of who the quarterback is. Like, I feel like he's one of those safe people that you can trust, regardless if it's Zach Wilson at quarterback. But for fantasy purposes, we're looking at, the running back situations too. Bam Knight, his touches remain, the same. 17 touches per game.
He didn't do well last week, man.
He didn't do well. That was his worst game since him taking over in week 12. And I do blame that on Zach Wilson with the lack of offense. And it just shows on paper, when Zach Wilson's in a game, other positions suffer. But short week, like you said, like he has to get something together. Like they have to have a game plan to go against this hot Jags offense and their defense.
But also, I feel like this is a must-win game for the Jets for the playoffs because the remaining schedule, I have to look at it. All I know is that they play the Dolphins in 2 weeks. Yeah, so they play the Jags. Who they play next week?
So they got the Jags, Seahawks, and Dolphins.
Yeah, so here's the thing. That's a murderous row for them, right? It's a murderous row, and they have to play.
And these are all games they can lose.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like they could go 0-3. They could absolutely go 0-3. Yep. They play the Seahawks.
They lost the last 3 games. They can literally go 0-6 since week 12. That is disgusting.
So they absolutely need to win this game. They absolutely need to win this game, and then because it's away, and then the Seahawks, they're home for the Seahawks, and then they have to go to Miami. Then they have to go to Miami to play them in week 18.
No, they're actually away for the Seahawks. So they got 2 road games back to back.
No, so 3 road games. That means
3 road games, yeah.
Wait, Jacksonville, are they home? I thought they're on the road.
Oh, no, they're home for Jacksonville. On the road for Seahawks and Dolphins.
God, okay. So they end the season with 2 road games.
Oh. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
And the fact that, again, because if they lose the next 2 games, they're out. They're out of the. There's no way they're making it.
I think Mike White comes back for Seattle, though. I think that would be the small bump of hope of having guys in your starting lineups in this championship round of like fantasy, because it's like, again, Garrett Wilson's on a lot of championship / playoff teams, and I feel like you can feel safe just with him. Everybody else is in question.
No, I mean it's true. I mean we'll see. That would be. I'm curious how to play, but as a Dolphins fan, I wouldn't mind them losing out. But they absolutely have to win. I mean, mathematically, they wouldn't like be eliminated if they lost. But if like the Dolphins, because this thing, the Dolphins are a game up, right? So Dolphins are a game up. If they're already out, so I think mathematically, the Dolphins are the last seed, so they're out of the playoffs. So then if they lose and the Dolphins win, that's 2. I think is a game and a half, 2 games up ahead of the Jets. It would be rough. But anyways, let's move on to the rest of the news. So we got Dallas Goedert activated off IR. And related news that Jalen Hurts has a chance to play. I don't know if he plays. I think that might be the Eagles just messing with Dallas. It just wouldn't. It doesn't make any sense because they have the first, they're locked up, right? They have the bye locked up. They have the division locked up. I mean, if they lose out, then maybe either I think Vikings or somebody can take over the number 1 seed of San Francisco.
It doesn't matter. You're still in the playoffs.
No, but the home field advantage and also the bye would be huge.
I hear you, but having him play this game is a huge risk because if he gets hurt first, your playoff run is done. No matter if you win or lose that game, like he's going to be hurt, and it's like he's not going to be 100%. To do all the great things he's been doing for the last 15 weeks. Like, I just don't see the point of him playing. Like, I know you do the pump fake for media for the other team so they can game plan against Hurts and not Minshew, but I think you roll with Minshew 100% and just say, hey, win or lose, we're behind you, Minshew. play good ball.
No, I agree. I mean, I would play Minshew too, but we'll see what happens. But at least they get Dallas Goedert back. We'll see. I know last time Minshew likes to throw his tight end, so I think Dallas Goedert is going to be just fine. We'll see how the other weapons do, but I think he's a decent enough player where the other assets will be fine. All right. Well, last bit of major news, I guess, quote unquote major. Khalil Herbert activated FIR, so he's back. I don't know how much work he's going to get. I mean, it's going to be a split. I mean, I feel like he was efficient. We saw those moments where Khalil Herbert can help you.
Still leads the league in yards per carry, by the way.
Wow, I didn't know that. Well, that's a
He
great.
hasn't played since like week 7.
That's a great stat. Khalil Herbert back for your fantasy playoffs. So if you need a flex, he might be a good flex. All right, now we're gonna go to one of our favorite segments, y'all. And then while we go to it again, if you guys have questions, start dropping them in here. We're gonna answer them for you. You got playoff questions? I know y'all got some playoff start sit questions. Drop them here. We're gonna get to them very soon. But let's talk about our favorite segment.
He's a glizzy gobbler.
Glizzy Gobbler, yo. Everyone, for those who don't know, I'm pretty sure everybody knows what Glizzy Gobbler is right now. But basically, if you don't know, Glizzy Gobbler is just somebody who's just underperformed. You thought it was going to perform, it underperformed. I know Clinton earlier, he mentioned Justin Herbert. That was a great Glizzy Gobbler candidate. My Glizzy Gobbler candidate is Deontay Foreman, man. Deontay Foreman, so disappointing. He had 10 rushes for 9 yards. I trusted him. This man was getting over 20 carries a game. He was a workhorse. And then he let me down. I don't know if it was Chuba Hubbard's. I don't know what.
I don't know.
And he had opportunities to get into the end zone. He just couldn't punch it in. It was just, it hurt me. It hurt my team so badly. And it cost me some playoffs, man. It cost me some playoff, next round opportunities, and just frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating. What about you, man? Like, I don't want to talk about Deontay Foreman anymore. We got beef. Who's your Glizzy Gobbler, man?
Listen, my Glizzy Gobbler has to be Miles Sanders. That man did not touch the ball basically an entire first half. And that right there killed a lot of fantasy managers just based on the usage he was getting weeks prior. And it's like, come on, man. We're looking at Miles Sanders at a low value going into this all season. So the people who did draft him, they got a great price for him. And then we started trusting, we started loving him. We started thinking he cared about our fantasy rosters. And then, he didn't show up. He did not show up. So
and he didn't care about your, betting slip. He don't care about your fantasy team still. But listen,
shit about anything.
He turned over a new leaf, man. But Miles. But I'm curious what they do with him. I don't know. I think it's a contract year for him, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
It's a contract year. So
it is.
With the Eagles, I don't see why you wouldn't need to pay him though. Like, is he good enough? Do you think he gets paid? Do you think Miles Sanders gets paid?
You got to think about what that number is though. How much are they willing
exactly
to? I see a 3-year contract in his future, but again, this is the first season where he's been able to relatively stay healthy and perform. So like, you pay him that big contract and it's like he ends up doing what he's done the first 4 years. What are we looking at? You know what I mean? Like, you're throwing money away, and I know Philly doesn't like doing that. So again, you have to pay the bag that hurts, and you're gonna have to call for major dollars for that.
Exactly, you're saving your money for Hurts. But the thing about it is, we've seen running back position be is extremely replaceable, and his production is replaceable. Right? He hasn't put up elite numbers. He's not, and I feel like unless you have someone who's just absolutely just unique, right? If you have like a CMC, if you have a Saquon Barkley, those are different discussions when it comes to running back and paying, or Derrick Henry. Like, you have to have somebody that's just different, who just.
But here's the problem with Miles Sanders. He has 2 running backs that have potential to play a 1-2 punch in that backfield. Like, if Miles Sanders was on IR for the next, let's say it's week 7 right now. He's on IR for the next 8 weeks. I'm pretty sure that Eagles offense, that run game is going to remain the same with a Boston Scott, Kenny Gainwell, and Jalen Hurts as well. Like, we've seen Boston Scott perform at a RB2 level where he's scoring touchdown after touchdown. And we've seen Gainwell be very effective in the passing game. So they legit have the cheapest version of a 1-2 punch in that backfield. I just don't see the reason to pay Sanders this big money when he can't stay healthy and he's not always productive. So,
I mean, he's been healthy this season. But it's just like you said, he hasn't done anything. He's not that much better, in my opinion, and what the numbers say, than his counterparts. Like, he's the lead back, but it's just like, if you don't pay him, and let's say you draft somebody, you just have a full-blown committee, they can do what Miles Sanders is doing now. And that's no disrespect to Miles Sanders. It's just that you aren't in that elite tier in order to get paid. Exactly. You're not closing the gap. And it's just like, again, like let's say Miles Sanders is not on that team and Kenny Gainwell's the lead back. I'm pretty sure you're going to see similar production. I don't think he moves the needle that much, in my opinion. Right. So that's just, and again, he's a fine back. I think he's good. I just don't think that he's a game changer where the Eagles need to pay him in order to like make a Super Bowl run. I don't think he's that intricate to the offense. He's not like AJ Brown. He's not like Goddard. He's not like Devontae Smith. He's a role player. He does his role really well, but you don't have to pay him. You can bring somebody else in who's decent or draft a running back and they can do it. Or again, have Kenny Gainwell be that RB. Maybe he's not as good as Sanders, but it's not a huge drop off.
I think who moves the needle in that Eagles offense is David Montgomery next year, who's also on the contract.
But the problem is, you're gonna have to. I mean, maybe you don't have to pay him that much. But it's all about like how much are they willing to pay? Like
Montgomery has been healthy. He's a healthier version of of what Miles Sanders wants to be, and I think he moves that needle just based on his running ability. I think David Montgomery is being held back, obviously, by a terrible Bears O-line, and then you got Justin Fields as well. So he's already used to an offense that has a mobile quarterback. You put David Montgomery behind the Eagles O-line, he's rushing for 1,200 yards. And
they have the best O-line in the league. You put almost anybody behind that O-line, they're going to look good. And that's another thing.
That's the type of caliber of a running back you pay what Miles Sanders is possibly chasing.
I feel like, I'm not trying to pay. If you're going to pay David Montgomery, if you're not going to pay Miles Sanders, there's no point in paying David Montgomery. I don't understand that.
I think he moves the needle for that offense to take another 13-1, 13-2, whatever run, going into 2023. I feel like this offense will be unstoppable with a David Montgomery at the run game instead of Miles Sanders, that you have to question his productivity every single week.
I don't know. I disagree. I mean, Monty's good. Again, I'm not saying any of these guys suck. I think they're good running backs, but I don't think you need to pay any of these dudes. I don't think you need to pay Monty. I don't think you need to pay and it all depends on what your definition of paying is, right? I feel that
we're not giving him a CMC or Alvin Kamara contract.
Exactly. You're not giving him like a Saquon or CMC kind of contract.
Neither of them guys deserve that, to be honest. I'm not gonna talk that crazy, but I feel like if you want, somebody that is availability is your best ability. And I think David Montgomery has a very good track record of being healthy. So I will invest in that.
He was just hurt. He just got hurt. He got hurt, though.
Let's talk collectively as their time in the NFL, my guy. You know what it is. It's just Sanders' first time of being healthy. We're holding our breath every single week. Like, damn, this might be the week.
They're in the same tier. They're the same type of running back. Like, if you're gonna go for somebody, they should. If they like the Giants don't want to pay Saquon,
like the 49ers.
If the Giants don't want to pay Saquon, go after Saquon. Pay Saquon. That's Giants what I'm saying.
Going to pay Saquon. That's the fucked up thing about all this whole situation in New York. They're going to pay Saquon, unfortunately. But then they're going to stick with Dan Jones, unfortunately.
But the Giants just need wide receivers. Like, I need air.
Odell Beckham. Pay Odell.
No, but he's a 30-year-old coming off a serious injury. Like, you're only going to pay him so much. You still need you need to draft like 2 receivers, and then you could fill like the 3 and 4.
Got to figure out that Kenny Galladay contract. I think they need to breach that shit.
Bro,
they got to call somebody.
A travesty. I thought Kenny G was going to get like 100 targets at least every year.
That was on the table for him, but he's not
bad. It was crazy. It's ridiculous how bad he is. But anyways, I digress. So, you know what? Let's get to some questions, man. I know people got some questions. We're here to help them out. So we're just gonna go dive right into the questions, y'all, man. I know we got a couple in here. If y'all have any other questions, drop them. Basically, once we go through the questions, we're gonna be done. So if you have any questions, drop them in here. We're gonna make sure we're gonna help you get to the next stage of the playoffs. We're gonna help you get to the championship. That's what it's all about. And again, make sure y'all liking this video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the page if you aren't already. All right, let's dive in real quick, man. Okay. Oaktown's Finest says, can you go over some QB waiver replacements for people that have Jalen Hurts? This is a great question. And I think this is something that people really want to know. Do you want to start? Do you want to start?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the obvious will be Gardner Minshew because he's out there. I feel like, Brock Purdy's still out there. He's still floating around. A lot of people are
Bro, I was
not
telling
really.
you about Brock Purdy, man.
Yeah, a lot of
I was
people are
telling you
not really
about
believing in the
Purdy.
wave, but he's in a 49ers offense and he's getting schemed up to hit some open wide receivers. So I think the touchdown upside is more so on Purdy than a Minshew or anything like that. But you got to check to see who's on the waiver wire also, because you have Kenny Pickett. He's not going to give you touchdowns, but he has some rushing ability. And Deontay Johnson got activated last week, so who knows? If you're in a pickle and there's none of these guys out there, you start diving into the Russell Wilsons. You start living and breathing with Russell Wilson, who's out there on the waiver wire. I was so surprised to actually see him out there, but he's been bad. It's rightfully so.
He's been really bad. There's some other suggestions I have that kind of gross, but hear me out, y'all. If you're streaming, Sam Darnold gets Detroit. The worst. They give up the most fantasy points to quarterbacks.
I don't hate that because Sam Darnold ran one in. He's still that guy in the red zone.
He does
take the ball in. So he has the rushing upside there as well.
And he's widely available. He's not sexy, but in the play that you're looking for, he's literally going against the best matchup you can get in fantasy.
Sounds like a trap.
It sounds like a trap, but again, they've been giving up points to everybody. They give it. Zach Wilson put up 20 points. That tells you everything you need to know.
That's true.
That tells you everything you need to know about Detroit. That's why I don't hate Zach Wilson. Another one that's gross. This is more like if you need to be in a very deep league for this one. Malik Willis.
Don't say it. I knew you was gonna say it.
No, because Ryan, just for people who don't know, I should have said it in the news. Ryan Tannehill, there's questions if he's gonna play. If he doesn't play, they get to play Houston. And what I'm saying is Malik Willis is very limited as an accurate passer in the football league. But one thing that he can do is run the damn ball. So this is more so if all your other options are gone, go Malik Willis. I'm telling you, nobody's going to want him. That's the
last of the last.
This is the last of the last, but he goes up against Houston. And even though Houston's been very competitive with these teams, they've been competitive offensively. Defensively, they're still giving up a lot of points to these other teams. It's just the offense is able to keep up for whatever reason.
So, and to be fair, too, like even their defense, like it's not as bad as everybody honestly thinks. You know what I mean? Like collectively, it looks bad, in the box score, but like their corners are actually, holding some wide receivers down, bro. Like they're not giving up the most points in fantasy football for wide receivers. I tell you that.
And one thing I wanted to mention, and this is a little bit of homer of me, but I'm very curious, right? So it was been after the Dolphins like blew them out by like 40, then they went toe to toe with Dallas, and they went toe to toe with the Chiefs. I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's more about Miami. We'll see. But I don't know this. And that was Kyle Allen, but they blew them out, blew the doors off. Tua had to sit. It was just. I just had to mention that. All right, but let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next question. All right, Clinton. How do we feel about Kirk, Dobbins, Mike Williams, and half-point PPR? Which one? Let's see. I love all of them. I think
he's asking who he should start, though, right?
Yeah. I know I'm saying I love all of them. I think Mike Williams, to me, has the biggest upside. I mean, I think Dobbins has been reliable, but I feel like if you're looking for the highest ceiling, I like Mike Williams. Kirk has been fine, but the problem is Zay Jones has emerged like very well a lot in this offense.
Yeah, Christian Kirk is he is one of those you got to play based on the matchup. Because Zay Jones is on fire right now.
And Evan Ingram. Like there's so many. Trevor Lawrence is getting everyone involved. That's my only fear about Kirk. So I think Mike Williams to me has the largest upside. I think Kirk and Dobbins might be safer, but we don't play safe in the fantasy playoffs. So you're going for the most upside. So I think Mike Williams for me. What about you?
Mike Williams has the most upside until Justin Herbert decides other.
But look, no, Justin Herbert, he's been playing well recently. All right, semifinals, Lost Hurts. Pick up Carr versus Pitt or Daniel Jones versus the Vikings. Daniel Jones versus the Vikings.
Danny Dimes.
The Vikings are also really bad. One of the worst defenses in the league. So
400 yards a game.
Yes, I'm doing Daniel Jones. Also, pick 2 ETN versus Jets. AJ Dillon versus the Dolphins. single carry. I like that. Versus Bears. So everyone runs all over the Bears. I will say the Dolphins have been really a lot better against the run recently. Like they've been shutting down ever since like the Nick Chubb. Besides like that one run Nick Chubb had where they scored late, the Dolphins defense has been really good against the run. Yeah, Josh, they're not good against running quarterbacks. Running quarterbacks run all over them, like Josh Allen, Justin Fields. But running backs, I think I saw some stat about they've been holding running backs like under 80 yard for the past however many weeks. So I think I know the Jets defense is good too. I would probably lean towards ETN. I know he's been very inconsistent recently. And
Umbaruski.
yeah, I don't know what happened with ETN. I know he got hurt, and ever since he got hurt, he's been kind of suckier. But I like ETN. I would say Singletary, he just doesn't get enough volume for me to be able to trust him. So I'm going ETN, even against the Jets defense.
Yeah, ETN and AJ for me.
Oh, I got pick 2. Yeah, so ETN and I guess I'll do ETN and AJ Dillon just for volume's sake, but again, just be wary that the Dolphins have been a lot better recently against the run. Okay. What it do, fam? What's up, Fizzle? How you doing, man? Question: if Lamar plays, do we trust him against Atlanta? No, you playing Fields, bro. I say that. I've been telling people if Fields is in the question, like there's only a couple guys I'm playing over Fields in fantasy as of right now. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and I'm just saying, bro. Like those are the only locked, guaranteed guys. Jalen Hurts, sorry. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts are the only people that's like no question of playing them over. Everyone else, Burrow, Herbert, you could play Justin Fields. Like again, do you see these runs? He does it at any. It doesn't matter the
any
defense.
point in the game, yeah.
Any opponent. He's doing these crazy 60-yard runs. So, yeah, I'm playing keep Fields, even over Lamar, which is crazy to say, but I'm playing Fields over Lamar easy. Okay. And, okay, perfect. Am I pressing my luck with 3 questions? Nah, man.
Send more, Chris.
Nah, yo, send questions, man. We going to be here for just a little bit. We're here to help y'all out. So, let's say D-Hop, Deontay, Juju, rank them for this week. Thanks again. How would you rank them?
Yeah, I'll take this one. I surprisingly like Juju the last couple of weeks. So D-Hop is still getting the volume, but we're not getting that big bang for your buck with Kyler Murray out. So the volume is still there. We're just not getting what we want out of D-Hop. So honestly, it sounds crazy, but I'm going Juju, D-Hop, and then Deontay this week. And Deontay getting Kenny Pickett back, it kind of rubs me the wrong way because we're still not seeing the touchdowns either way if it's Mitch or Kenny. But, I'm going Juju, D-Hop, and then Deontay.
Deontay looked good last week. I mean, with Mitch, he was targeting him. He was putting Yeah, I would say that I'm doing the same thing. It's solely D-Hop. I miss Kyler. I miss Kyler for D-Hop. But, I'm going Juju.
He's still going to get the volume, but it's not what we want. Like 11 targets, 7 catches for 60 yards, no touchdowns. Like that's not helping me right now.
Nah. Like, I mean, it's fine. It's a good floor, but okay. Last question we got: Hawk or Kittle? Ooh, I think it with what we got one more after this, but Kittle. Look, they were feeding Kittle with Debo out. Kittle finally, because Kittle sucked all year. Debo suddenly gets hurt, and then they remember that George Kittle's part of the offense, which George Kittle should be getting 9 targets a game. But he's just such a good blocker, and they have so many weapons. They just forget to throw it to him, apparently. I'm going Kittle. What about you?
I want to say I'm going Kittle, but that Commanders defense ain't no joke, man. In multiple categories going into this week, since week 8, they were first in points per game, takeaways, etc., defensive touchdowns. Like they're playing elite. Like they play elite football since 2020 under Ron Rivera, November and December. So it's like, I don't know if I'm going Kittle this week. Kittle had the matchup last week. You know what I mean? And I feel like with having that matchup, the volume also there on the table, that just collided with a major monster game. But honestly, I'm going with Hawk just based on The volume is there. They're spreading the ball out. He's going to give you the yards. Kittle scares me because he's not a guy that's known to make a lot of touchdowns. You see, that's the issue with Kittle, the line between him and Kelsey. Touchdowns, touchdowns, touchdowns. I just feel as though this week I have a better shot with Kirk Cousins. Just saying.
I like the argument. I'm going Kittle, Clinton. I'm sorry that we're house divided.
Sorry we're divided on this.
Yeah, but either one I think is a fine start. Okay, fine. If Minshew starts, are you rolling with the Cowboys defense? I would play the Cowboys defense. I'm definitely more confident in playing the Cowboys defense with Minshew than with Hurts. So
absolutely.
Yeah, but I feel like they're going to. I'm assuming they're going to tailor the play calling to Minshew. They're going to, maybe not ask him to do too much. He has the weapons, but I think we're going to see a lot more Miles
they kind of let up on the leash on him. The last time he played, he came out with a win that game.
And but it's a really tough defense. I feel like Cowboys defense. I mean, usually they're good, but I would say that
big plays still. I feel like Minshew's going to go in there comfortable. We're going to see, his Jacksonville days, come out and screw out.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he turns the ball over. I wouldn't be surprised if he turns the ball over.
But you still play the Cowboys defense. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're in agreement on that. All right. Last one from Fizzle. With no Hurts, where are we ranking the Eagles playmakers? I don't want to move them too much. Obviously, they all drop down, all of them.
Yeah.
I don't want to overreact because I feel like, look, they're still going to tell everybody to, the game plan is get the ball to A.J. Brown. Get it to Dallas Goedert. Get it to Devontae. I think Devontae Smith is the one that probably gets hurt the most. But I think I like Goedert because we've seen that connection before. And AJ, like if I'm the offensive coordinator, Gardner, just get the ball to AJ Brown.
I'm going Dallas Goedert. I'm going Smith, and then I'm gonna go AJ because I think all the attention will be on AJ, obviously, but Smith. That opens up a lot for him. And then comfortability and just having that security blanket, that's going to be the tight end position for Minshew. So I think that would be my ranking. Goddard, Smith, and then Brown.
Nice. Okay. And Alan has Gabe or AJ Dillon? AJ. Gabe Davis has been very sucky, unfortunately. Yeah, AJ Dillon. But all right, guys. That is our show, man. It's been such a fun season. I just want to say thank you to all y'all been tuning in, rocking with us every single week, man. I know we're a new show. Look, we appreciate you taking the time to rock with us, ask us questions, interact. It means a lot. It means a lot to LQ and I. Again, you're going to see us in the off season. We're going to be back with some content. Obviously, it's going to look a little bit different in terms of the format because it'll be the off season. But also next season, you're going to hear us doing our thing, man. Again, we ain't going nowhere. We're still part of Destination Devy crew. It's been such a fun season. We love Ray. We love Jay Rich. It's been dope, man. It's been so dope.
Absolutely.
Again, we're just grateful for all you guys, and again, just thank y'all. It's been so fun. And make sure to follow us, man. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us. Look, you see the names here. Real Deal Fantasy for LQ, T King Mode for me. And look, we ain't going nowhere, man. But you're gonna see us probably in the Discord a little bit more, man. Look, because we said we ain't as busy with content in the off season. You might see us interacting in the Discord. So say what's up.
We have a debate in there.
Yeah, we'll have a debate in there. We'll be wilding in there, man. So I just want to say thank y'all so much. We appreciate you guys. And look, have a safe. Oh yeah, before I go, man. Look, Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, New Year. Happy freaking New Year to y'all. Appreciate the love. We'll see y'all on the flip side.